Everyone. Only 3 minutes late. I'm improving this week, I swear. Hope you're all well. Hope you had a good week. Hope we're all feeling the January mood now. The first week was like a starter, and now we're getting into like the middle of January. So I hope you're starting to practice all your New Year's resolutions. You're trying, you still have willpower, you still have determination, you're still trying to keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, building those new habits we talked about. So today we are going to speak about learning from your mistakes, which I think is such a great topic. I discovered we were doing today. Let me change this title. Learning from your mistakes. I think it's also a timely time because at the beginning of the year, as we start all these new resolutions and goals and habits, we have to try to understand why we didn't succeed in these things before. So I think that's why it made sense to do this topic at this time. Because if you keep trying the same thing over and over and you're not getting results, you need to adjust. I think that's the definition of insanity. Trying the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That is the definition of insanity, because you have to be getting feedback and iterating or changing, like seeing how can I adapt this. I tried it this way, it didn't work, so let's try it another way. And this is a skill for everything, whether it's life, it's business, it's your relationships, it's your work. You have to be seeking feedback. And I know I've talked about this before, but I think it's such an important area because so many people just don't like feedback. They take criticism so badly, people become defensive. And I think that hurts us as people. How can you ever grow if you can't listen to where you need to grow? If you can't see where the challenges you have are, if you keep doing the same thing over and over. I was just in the gym and they're telling me about someone who was doing the same thing over and over and never like pushing themselves, challenging themselves, trying something new. And they complain like, why aren't I getting different results? Why don't I look amazing? If you walk on the treadmill at the same pace at the same time every day for 2 years, your body is not gonna change. You're not getting the feedback, you're not seeking new challenges or new growth. You're not seeing where do I need to improve. So I think you have to look at your mistakes and also assess things. That's why every week I'm like, have you assessed how the week went? Take a moment and be like, it's Friday. What did I do this week? What did I achieve? What didn't I achieve? What did I want to achieve? What worked? What didn't work? What can I improve on? Where did I make a mistake? Did I say something wrong? Did I make a mistake? Did I come late? Did I make an error? Did you apologize to the person who you let it out on? Did you review the document before you submitted it? You have to also look at what you're doing so that you're constantly improving and look back. It's hard at the end of the year to reflect on a whole year if you've not been reflecting small as you go. When I did my annual reflection, at least I had like notes from the whole year to go through and like think about each week and each month and what happened and what didn't happen, and look at my goals from last year and what did I achieve and what didn't I achieve. Why didn't I achieve those goals? What were my obstacles? That's such an important thing, because when we set goals, it's good to be ambitious. It's good to reach high and say, this is what I really want to strive to do, and it's going to take willpower, and I'm going to be so happy with the results. But you also have to plan for yourself. What is going to be in my way? Is it too inconvenient? Is it too expensive? Am I saying I'm going to start reading a book a day, yet I've not been reading at all? I'm not a reader, but I'm going to start reading 2 hours every single day for 7 days a week. Is that too ambitious? What is going to make me not do that? Am I too tired at night? Do I not have a book I'm interested in? Am I a slow reader? What is the problem? So you have to look at those obstacles and so you can plan for them. And one of the best ways to do that is to learn from your own mistakes. You can learn from other people's mistakes, which is the best way to learn because it's not as painful. That's why you need to read books, have mentors, ask questions. Because, guys, you are not the first person to do whatever you're doing in life. Before I try anything, I have to find someone who's already done it and ask them, how did you do it? You tell me. What did you do? What worked? What didn't work? How did you learn from this? It's so useful. You cut the time, you cut the effort, the stress, the cost, because you learn from someone else's mistakes. Someone else did this. So, what path did they take and why did it work for them? Then you try it for yourself. Don't try and just copy and paste because everyone is slightly different. But it's not rocket science. We're not trying to invent something new. See what they did, how they learned from their mistakes, then try it yourself. Give yourself an experiment time. Like how some people were saying the first week of January was like onboarding. It's just first like the trial. Now we're in the second week. This was the real January. So see Experiment for yourself and see what worked and what doesn't work. If you take that attitude, you don't put so much pressure on I have to have this result by Friday. It's a let's see how this goes. Let me see how this works. Like now I've been going to the gym. I'm like, let's see how this goes. Let's see how my body responds. I don't know what's going to hurt or what I can do or what I can't do. I'm first like just experimenting. This is what worked for this person. This is what worked for that person. Let me test out both and see. Does it work? How do I feel? What do I think? Okay, this hurts. That doesn't hurt. I need to eat this. I need to drink more water. So you adjust for yourself. Think of yourself as like a scientist for yourself, for your life, for your work, for your relationships, for your physical fitness, for your spirituality, for everything. What works for you? What can you take? What can you learn? And it's a wonderful attitude. I know many people, when they see the word learning, they're like, no, I don't want books. I'm tired of school. But I feel like it's an attitude you have to have. Because if you're always learning, you're always growing, you're always improving. And it's hard to find a balance. I think a few years ago, I realized I was too negative at this point. Every single thing we did, like events at the hotel, I wouldn't even be like, well done, we've made this much money. The moment the event is over, first thing the next morning, what have we learned? What can we do better? What went wrong? Let us see how we can improve. I went too aggressive on that side because I was so used to like feedback now. I remember when we were pitching Musana, we used to have to like pitch Musana to so many different people, to investors, to friends, to network people, to scientists, to people who can support us and help us and in different directions. But every time you pitch it, someone has feedback for you. Have you thought of this? Why have you done this? Why haven't you done that? I think this is wrong. And it's hard to take, but you start to get used to it and you start to hear the good things in that. Oh, okay, we've never thought of that. Oh, okay, haven't tried that. Okay, what do you mean by that? Once you remove that layer of defense, it's easier to take the feedback. And if you do that for yourself as well, when you're assessing things, okay, I messed up this week. I missed the gym session, or I wrote that report badly, or I shouted at my sister. You can accept it. You don't have to be so defensive because you'll never grow. You'll just keep doing the same things over and over, making the same mistakes over and over if you're not learning from them. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm sure I also make mistakes and I don't even realize. But you need to have cultivate the mindset that you're open to it. So if someone tells me, oh my God, you did this, it was terrible, I'm like, oh, okay. Explain more. Ah, okay, I see. How did I end up doing that? What made me do that? Why did I not think this through? You learn to adjust your attitude so you don't take it badly and you don't see a mistake as a terrible thing. I think sometimes in our culture we feel like we'll be punished if we make a mistake or if we acknowledge a mistake. You just have to keep going, pretend it didn't happen, you know? And I think that hurts us because we don't learn and we don't grow. You're going to keep making that same mistake. And that's how life is. Until you learn from something, you keep learning the same life lesson. That's how I feel like God teaches us sometimes. You learn it in a small way, a small way, a small way till you're not learning the lesson, it hits you in a bigger way. So I think it's an attitude that you have to cultivate and not see as negative. So when someone gives me feedback or is critical or I make a mistake, yes, in the moment I'm like, oh no, I did this. Crap. How do I fix this? Let's figure it out. But after I'm like, okay, what did I learn from this? It sucked. I messed up, or I lost money, or I spilled something, or I broke something, or I made a huge mistake and it has had these consequences. But what lesson can I take from it? Because I never want to make that same mistake again. Bring me a new mistake. I'm okay to make a new mistake, but I don't want to make that same mistake again. Let me learn and see how I got myself in that position. What could I have done differently? Could I have asked for help? Could I have planned better? Could I have put in more time? Did I just misunderstand something? How did I make that mistake? Oh, I did that the other day. I had a big misunderstanding yesterday. So now I took the lesson. I was texting someone instead of calling, and we misunderstood each other. And by the time I realized he had misunderstood me, it was too late. And I was so stressed, and I was like, oh my God, what do I do? But I was like, there's nothing. We just have to make the most of it now. It's okay. It's okay. Let's not stress him out. He has to finish what he's doing. We will deal with this tomorrow. And next time, make sure you call. This is not a texting kind of service that you can ask for. I just realized that now. So you have to just like be ready to accept your mistakes, I think. And if you don't be so critical on yourself, you don't need to beat yourself up like, oh my God, how could you do this? You're so stupid. No, we're all human beings. We all make mistakes. So be compassionate with yourself. If your friend made a mistake, if your sibling made a mistake, you wouldn't scream at them and say you're so useless. How could you be so stupid? You're like, oh no, that's terrible. Oh dear. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Okay, so now next time we won't do that again. So think about it like that with yourself. Oh no, oops, I made a mistake. It's okay. It's okay. We are moving forward. The world didn't end. How can we learn from this mistake? How do we salvage this situation? And how do we make sure we don't make the same mistake again? Because once you're making the same mistake again and again, I feel like that one is worse. And that one is harder to like unlearn and like take yourself out of. I think that's also a part of learning from your mistakes. And I think we have some questions about that. It's about like the unlearning of the things that you're doing wrong and seeing how you can improve them. The problem with that is it's so hard to realize something that you need to unlearn. And I think that's such a unlearning is such a big buzzword as well. Um it's trendy, but it's very difficult to grasp because so many things in our life are just we have it passively. We don't even realize how where we learned it or why we think that. From the way we were raised, the community we're in, the way our work environment is, we just get used to how things are and we don't realize the habits and things that we do all the time. But sometimes you have to see what am I doing that's not serving me anymore? What am I doing all the time? And I don't know why I do this. It's not helpful. It's not bringing me peace or joy or use in my life. I just do it because that's how things are. Maybe that's something you have to unlearn. You have to remove and replace with a more useful habit. So trying to think of an example of stuff that you have to unlearn. Sometimes it's like some small things like how you type emails or how you greet people or like water bottles. You know, when you're drinking a bottle of water and you don't put the cover on and people knock it over. How many times has that happened to you? And you never think, let me just start making a habit of always closing my water bottle. You have to think about small things. And then there are also big things like the way you talk to yourself or like the habits you have for what's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning. So many of us, the first thing we do is we scroll through our phones instead of let me drink some water, let me stretch, let me start the day with good intentions or a prayer or what am I grateful for? I woke up this morning, I have my health, thank you, you know? There's so many things that we just do as patterns and you have to like unlearn. A lot of the things you learn also like from your childhood or from your household. The other day I was having an interesting conversation about how you manage conflict. The way you manage conflict in your home is how you now manage conflict when you start in the world, whether it's in relationships or with your office colleagues. You think it's normal. In our house, we shout. In our house, we keep quiet. We don't talk about problems. In our house, we write down the issue, you know, and you just think it's normal. Is that the healthiest way for you to be processing something? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever been proactive and intentional? Like, is this the best thing for my life? Is this just because it's how we've always done it? Does that mean we have to always do it? Yesterday, someone was telling me he was raised Muslim and now he's become a Christian. And I was like, that's so interesting. I've met so many people who are raised Christian and became Muslims, but I never met someone the other way around. And when you see people like that, something was not working for them in the way they were raised, in the religion they grew up in. And they found God and peace in a whole other religion. That's a lot of unlearning. All the prayers, all the things that you know and you think are true and you believe, and now you have to learn a whole new way and a whole new belief. I commend people like that because you took your own spiritual journey and you didn't just take for granted what your parents have told you and believed it. You found your own path to God and you had to unlearn so much and learn new things. It's difficult. And if you think about that, like in other areas of your life, me, I'm struggling to unlearn all my bad physical habits. I have to give up sugar. I have to learn how to stretch more. I have to drink even more water. I have to learn how to like be okay with my body in pain because it's good pain. But it's unlearning that comfort and that laziness feeling and like eating the wrong things. You have to unlearn that and learn a whole new layer. And when you think about like it like a work situation, haven't you ever like moved to a new company and they just do things differently? I remember I worked in a bank when I was younger and people would be there so early and they would leave so late and they would only wear like certain types of clothes. There was like an office culture I had never seen because I'd only ever worked for my parents and we didn't have that type of culture in Simba. Everything is so much more dynamic. I'd worked in Simba Telecom when I was a kid and everything is like moving and fast and fun and sales and field and you know different things. It's not like a bank where everyone is serious and calm and at desks and in like blue and white, you know. So there are so many things you get exposed to and you ask yourself, which is the better path for me? What serves me better? What's going to make my life better? Does it make sense to continue the way just because this is how it's always been? Or should I need to unlearn that and learn something new and see how this new thing works in my life? This is why me I like the experimental way. You experiment with something 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You see, it works for me now. Work for me. Okay, I tried. Told my gym trainer today, you have 3 months. I'm gonna give it everything and try very hard, and then we see if the experiment worked. She's like, by then you'll love it. Don't worry. We shall see. But I mean, it's good to experiment with things because you don't put that pressure on yourself. If I try and I failed, okay, I failed, but I tried. Let's try something else. And this is how I learned so many productivity things. I started reading Tim Ferriss's books and listening to podcasts and saying, okay, what works for me? Is it Pomodoro? Is this type of bullet journaling? Is it this to do app? Whenever I get a new app, I download like the top 6 apps when I look for that thing. The other day I had to get a sleep app. I downloaded 4 of them, and now I'm trying out different ones. Whichever one I like the most, I'll keep and I'll delete the other ones. When I was learning about to-do list apps, I downloaded a bunch. I tried one each week. It's annoying because you're writing your to-do list so many times till I found the one I like. A notes app, because I use that attitude of experimenting. Learn and learn. Learn and learn. This is how you use it. Okay, it's okay. This one, this is how you use it. Okay, I didn't like that one. This one you could swipe, that one you could press. Okay, it can be confusing. Let's remove that. Let's try this. But if you get in the practice, it's a practice. So I don't notice, and it's not hard for me anymore to keep trying different things. And then the thing that works, I keep that because it's making my life better. It's more efficient, it's more useful, it's more peaceful. I'm happier with this. You find it. It's like trying different foods or finding a different type of drink you like. I've never tried this juice, I've never tried this food. Try, see if you like it, makes your life better, stick to it. But if you don't get in the practice of trying different things, it's really hard to learn new things, to increase your opportunities, to grow. Because if you do the same thing over and over and over and you expect the same results, remember, that's insanity. So if you do the same thing over and over at work and every year you're like, but why don't they promote me? I'm really trying. I'm doing the same thing. I've always been like this. I've been in this position for 4 years and I've been exactly the same for 4 years and I don't get promoted. You gotta ask yourself, what else can you try? Do something different. Try it in a different way. When we're building, like you try different things. Shall we do it this way or shall we do it that way? Use this bricks or those bricks. Shall we use this paint swatches, this color or that color? Paint one wall and we see. In life, you always have to try different things because you don't know which option is the best option for you in that moment that's going to serve your goal or your purpose. And so that's what you have to start to think about without all that pressure. Don't incur costs crazily. Like all these apps I'm testing, I'm not paying for them unless I really love this app and I've used it for 6 months and now I'm ready for premium. That's when I'll think about paying for an app. Try things in a low stress way, that it's not super inconvenient, it's not expensive, it's not going to organize your whole life. See how you can test out small things in your life, testing things in your diet, in your walkway. And can I come 15 minutes earlier every morning? Can I read in the evening? Something that people always ask about is how they can build a reading habit. I'm like, try different things. Keep a book on you at all times. If you're in traffic, if you're waiting for someone, if you reach somewhere early, you can read the book. Some people like to wake up earlier, read their book, leave it at their bed, and go start their day. Some people put it at the bedside. So at night when I'm going to bed, I sit, I read my 30 minutes. Try what works for you, when works for you. Do you need to be sitting outside? Do you need it to be quiet? Do you want to put headphones? Do you want to read at lunchtime? When works for you? See how to make it work for you. But you'll never know if you don't try. Ask other people what works for them. See and experiment. Just because someone reads in the morning doesn't mean you have to read in the morning. I love asking people these kinds of questions because I find it fascinating. I'll ask someone who is way more experienced and then I'll ask my peers around me, what time do you wake up? Do you read books? What type of books do you read? How do you do it? Where do you get your information? I ask my friends these kinds of things all the time because it's interesting. How are you doing it? Then I can practice and try that. Does it work for me? Does it not work for me? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But because of the attitude of no stress about that for the learning, unlearning, testing, trying, I get to learn so many different things all the time because I'm open to it. And I take the attitude and the practice of learning, asking for feedback. How did this work out? Do you think I did well on this? How do you think we did? Even for like my businesses, I'm always asking for feedback. Every week at the hotel, they're sending me the feedback forms. The food was this. Oh, this was great. This person was good. The service was slow. We gotta keep trying and improving. And every week we talk about it. This week was a really good week. See all the good feedback we got. But this person said the food was too salty. What happened that day? Why was the food so salty? Was it the person who just thinks it's too salty, or was there something different that day? You have to keep trying and assessing. It never ends. It never ends, which is a good thing because you keep learning and you keep growing. So you can see different areas how you can do it. Is this working for us? Just because it worked for us last year doesn't mean it's going to work for us this year. This is a whole new year. People are back at work. Things are going to be open in another week or so. Kids are back at school. Just because this is the system you are using now from work from home, does that mean this is how you're going to keep going forward? You have to keep assessing and adapting, because if you don't keep changing and growing and evolving, you stay the same. And time is always moving forward. So if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards because time is moving forward. You're just going to be left behind. Other people are growing and challenging themselves, they're adapting and testing out things. So, if you want to see different results in your life, you have to try new things. If you want to be healthier or smarter or richer, faster or fitter or have more friends, you have to try new things. Oh, I went to one networking event in 2018. It didn't work for me, so I don't have a network. Okay, you have another 20 years in your career. Good luck with that. You have to keep trying. Try different things. Go to a smaller event, do an online event, read a book about it, watch a YouTube video, ask your friends, practice. There's always so many options to things. There's never just one way to do something or one solution. It's funny. One of my friends was telling me the other day there was a problem at his hotel, and he climbed the ladder and like fixed the thing. And he asked his maintenance guy, "If I can do it, why haven't you done it all these months?" He's like, "I didn't know it could be done like that." He only thought of one way, and when he couldn't do it that way, he's like, "Okay, it can't be done." And it took the whole boss to climb the ladder and show him there are all these other ways to do it. Because sometimes when our minds are closed off, we don't see all the options. And it's very depressing and hard, and you can become negative. You know those negative people, it can't be done. There's no solution. They only bring problems. I don't like those kinds of people. Always telling her, you brought me the problem. What are the options for the solutions? Give me the options, because I'm sure there's more than one option. Shall we do this? Shall we do this? Shall we try that? Let's brainstorm. What are the different ways to fix this? Okay, we made this mistake. What have we learned from this mistake? Next time we have to make sure we prep this, or we tell this person in advance. We involve this department. Okay, great. Let's move forward. No anger, no wahala. I'm not upset. As long as we are learning from it, we are growing from it. This year, New Year's at Skies, I told the manager, I'm so impressed. You're so organized. Even at Protea, they also did well. Because we have learned from the last 4 New Years, every single time, what do we need to do better? What went wrong this year? This has happened last year. This problem with stock, this problem with cash, this problem at the gate. This year, they were efficient. Everyone knew these are the problems last year, so we are deployed in advance. We've planned it in advance. We know what to watch out for. Much smoother. I was like, this is how we grow. I was so proud. I actually got to sit and chill on New Year's. It was new. This is the first New Year's. Because we learn, and it's a wonderful attitude. It's hard. I'm not saying it's not hard. It can be frustrating because there's always something you can do better. Always. Nothing is ever perfect. And I know there's so many perfectionists out there. I too am a perfectionist at heart. But the true perfection it's not attainable. Because even when you think you've done the best job, there's always something you could have done better. When you think about it later, you're like, I can improve on this next time. I can add this later. You should see artists doing that, or like decorators. They keep like adding things, and you can see them like assessing maybe this, maybe that, maybe this. And the next time they do it, they've added something else, or they've changed this. That's the attitude you have to have across all areas of your life. It's so interesting. You can always keep growing if you take the attitude of it's okay. It's just an experiment. I'm learning as I go. I'm learning. I'm unlearning. I'm learning. I had all these bad habits. I've unlearned. Now I replace them with good habits, one at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time. You get there slowly by slowly. Just don't put so much pressure on yourself to succeed. It's not about the results, it's the skill of practicing that. That's where the magic is. Because the more you practice the learning, unlearning, improving, getting the feedback, doing better next time, doing better next time, doing better next time, you will look back and you're like, wow, I've come so far. I can't believe this is where we started. I can't believe the first time we did this service or we had this product, this is what it looked like. Look how far we've come. Because you just keep improving. But if you do the same thing over and over and over, you get frustrated because you don't understand why things are not changing for you. Change is a good thing. You have to keep evolving. If you do the same thing over and over and over, don't expect difference. Just say, this is my life. This is how it is. This is my business, my capacity. This is what we do. And it's going to be like this forever. That's what you want? No problem. Go for it. Be happy about it. It's also important to be content and also know when you've reached your limit. This is as much as I want. This is as much stress as I want, as much money as I want. This is enough. It's a choice. You want to see different results. If you want this year to be different from last year, you have to be different. You have to do different things. Learn from your own mistakes. Learn from other people's mistakes. Remove the things in your life that do not serve you. The people, the habits, the practices, the foods, the things in your life that are not good for you that you know or that you can improve on or you can do better with, or you can learn from and take and improve and do a whole new level this year. If you want to be different, you need to be learning and looking back and reflecting. Take the feedback. Ask people, what do you think? How is this? Am I like this? Do you think I should do this? It helps. It really, really helps. It can be hard, it can be difficult, but you need to have people in your life you can trust, who you can talk about these things with. So, what am I supposed to do? Is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Try. I'll try this one for 2 weeks, then I'll try this one, then I'll try this one, then I'll decide. Okay, this is the way forward. This is good. I feel better. It's working for me. Let's go. If you keep doing that with different things in your life, there's always so many things you can experiment and learn and grow, and you keep going. No one said just because you've been doing something a certain way, you can never change. Is there a rule? Will the police come for you? She used to only wear black and white outfits. Now she started wearing colors. What do we do? She changed after 40 years. Nothing will happen. It's your life. You have the right to change. You can be whoever you want to be from today. From tomorrow, you can be a whole other person. The next day, be a whole other person. It is your life and your life alone. Oh, my family thinks I'm this kind of a person. How do I start to become this other person? Girl, is your family you? Are they going to be with you in your office, in your stress, in your life, in your home? No. They're living their own lives. Oh, my colleagues all think I'm a quiet person. How do I not start becoming a loud person and I network with them? Guess what? They'll be interested. They'll find a whole new you. You'll discover new things and new people and new places. You'll connect in new ways. Go for it. You have the right to live your life the way you want to live it, which means you can change at any time. You can keep evolving. You can be different. You can say, oh, that was the me of last year. Now I don't drink anymore. I found church. I read books. This is the kind of person I am. Bye. You have the right to change. You have the right to be whatever you want to be. Just because someone has known you a certain way doesn't mean you can't evolve. You can't learn from that. You can't improve. You can always change. You can always improve. You can always take the feedback and see how you can do it better. Even the people who you think their lives are perfect, oh my God, this one is so rich, this one is so fit, this one is so happy, they also have things that they can improve on. They also have areas of their life that they're not quite comfortable with. Even the areas that you love and you enjoy. How can I keep doing this? How can I do more of this? The stuff that's good for you, do more of that. The stuff that's bad for you, do less. How do I do less of the bad things and more of the good things? That was a question in one of my annual review, like workbooks. It was a good question. I was like, okay, the things I don't like, how do I do less of that? Less time, less interaction, remove what I can. The things I enjoy, how do I do more of that? How do I plan better or spend more time with my friends or allocate time to do more reading or more watching YouTube videos that I can learn from? It's up to you because it's your life. So the day is yours to plan and do as you wish. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but the truth is it is. If you really want something, you will find a way to fit it in your life. If you really don't want something, you can find a way to remove it from your life. But you need to reflect. You need to take that mistake, take that learning, take that feedback, and make sure you keep going and growing because the world is changing every day. Really, 2 years ago, who thought we'd be here? You can't plan these things. We don't know what's happening. We're seeing technology moving. You're seeing new things invented. The other day, I saw China has a new sun, guys. They made a whole sun. Who said we only need to have the one sun? Why not? China said, you know what? We're going to make a sun. A whole other planet, a whole other entity. Why not? Remove the things you don't need, the things that don't serve you. It's your life. You are the curator of your own life. You can't blame anyone else. You can't say it's other people's fault. Other people, I'm sure, influence things, but you're an adult. You're by the time you're here watching this, you are an adult. It's your life. Take responsibility. Make your life what you want it to be. Change one thing at a time. Try different things. See what you can learn. After all these years on earth, what have you learned? What can you say, I know this to be true? This is good, this is bad, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. I like this, I don't like this. Can anyone force you to eat food you don't like? Oh, I hate the taste of this. But who can force you to eat it as an adult? For what? Why? Think of your life that way. Why are you doing things that don't serve you? Think about how you can make this year the year where you made your own choices. You made your own experiments, your own priorities. You're making your life fit you, how you want it to be, how you envision it. When you think about yourself in 10 years, how are you going to get there if you can't make those changes? You'll never be that person in 10 years if you're not changing who you are now. That person in 10 years looks like who you are now. Great, you're done. Chill. But if the person in 10 years in your mind, that vision, is not exactly who you are now, it means you need to make some changes in your life. So you need to start adjusting, taking the feedback, trying new things, and learning the bad things, learning some new things so that you get to be that person. It's doable, I promise. Have a nice weekend. I will see you or hear from you next week. Send me your questions if you have any.